The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
On this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr., we welcome the new 2025 USBC Majors champion, Gary Haines, to the show. Gary has a remarkable story. His first ever PBA TV appearance, gets his first national tour win, and it's a major. Can't wait to talk about his road to becoming a major champ. We will also have the imbecile of the week. Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. starts now.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledrup here.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr. Ocho, and of course, JP Jr.
As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling, and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Somebody does it!
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob Francois. Rad Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob Francois. God, I miss Popeyes. I really do. I get their grilled chicken now. They have a blackened grilled chicken tenders. It's really good. But I haven't had any fried food since I started my fitness journey a couple months ago. But yeah, I'm in the gym 7 days a week. But it's not about me. I mean, it is. Let's be honest. It really should be Straight Up 5 with Rob Francois. But I mean, whatever. It is what it is. You see Johnny laughing in the background. This is episode 152. We have a very special guest tonight. I got a message from our buddy in Modesto, California, Alex Bermudez, who's always checking in behind the drill press. He can't comment on YouTube, and I'm not sure exactly why. It's really, really, really weird. But he is here. He is watching, as always. As well as our faithful Chuck Ritchie. What's going on, brother? We got Crambone in the house. What's up? You kissed my wife before the show? That's okay. That's fine. She got to get it from somewhere. Pete Cow's in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Nico, our resident reporter and statistician. I've been reading your Facebook posts, and I have to say you are closer to finding your neck with all the workouts that you were doing. Yeah, it's starting to come out a little bit right there. That little neck muscle right. It's like a quarter inch. But anyways, Ocho is late. He had a weather emergency. But I'm going to bring in the man with the name on the marquee. The sexiest man in the world. Bowling 2 nights a week at Majestic Lanes and Howell Lanes, and bowling very well. We'll get into that towards the end of the show. He is the one and only everybody's favorite junior. JP Jr. What's going on, Johnny?
Thank you for that intro there, Rob. Everything is going just fine over here, man. No complaints. very, very, very excited about tonight's show. It's the Masters always brings a beautiful new story to the world of bowling. Whether you love or hate the format, whether you agree or disagree with it, I've always believed that the Masters, although part of it may be luck of the draw, has a lot to do with also being one of the hardest tournaments to win, simply because you have to win it so many times throughout the course of the week.
Yeah.
You got to get through a field of near 400 players and just to make it into the top 64. And then to do what this year's champion did and lead that tournament and go through every single opponent. It's a shame that we don't get to see more of what it takes to make it to a Masters show, let alone lead a Masters show and then win a Masters. And we had the pleasure of having a first-time champion D-Ron Booker on our show last year after his win.
Yep.
And I'm truthfully, deeply excited to dive into the brain of this year's Masters champion as well. So I'm actually really, really, really stoked for this show, because I'm going to have a lot of different, I guess, more down-to-earth questions for our guests this week than I would normally ask, guys that have been there for full-time for 20 or 30 years like we've had on tour. So
True.
It's between that and, hoping these Mets hang on here in the bottom of the 11th with 2 outs and runners on the corners, and everything is just fine. So, and yeah, it has been, bowling is still going good for me. And again, we'll talk about that after we spend time with our special guest tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we bring him in, it's always customary to play a highlight video of our first-time guest. So here is a highlight package of, his only appearance on PBA TV, which brought him a Masters title. Here's a look at Gary Haines' Masters win.
Bowl shot through the nose. You must mark any mark.
One good shot. That's it. One good one. One good shot.
The game right
so
there.
Good.
Well,
such a good shot.
By far his best shot of the game on that right lane.
Yep. Can you make a 10-pin?
It's incredible. It's a lot like the O'Neill one. And O'Neill shot 100 of them on TV. Gary has never shot one for a major.
And for $100,000.
It is a long, long way away right now.
That 60 feet just became 120.
Looks good.
Can he get 4?
Can he get 4? The moment of the match is brought to you by Pilgrims. Chicken can be boring, but Pilgrims is turning chicken nuggets upside down. I love it. You love it. Put it in a nugget. This is Dad and his wife. Gary Haines is the USBC Masters champion for his first professional title.
Just breaks.
Nothing we can do about that.
At least that's one good one. I need it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Are you kidding me?
Anthony Simonson very gracious there.
All the tickles and kiss, guys.
Go grab the trophy, Gary.
Dino might be opening a psychology practice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know of any other ball reps in the time that I've been doing this that have suggested, let's go push your wife.
Wow.
And Kimberly's got him.
With the trophy presentation, I'd like to introduce Anthony Colangelo, USBC Board of Directors. Will you please do the honor?
Sure. Gary, congratulations from the million members of the United States Bowling Congress, the staff and board of USBC. Congratulations on winning the 2025 Masters.
Let's bring in the man, Gary Haines. What's going on, Gary? Congratulations,
What's up, man?
brother.
How's it going? I mean, jeez.
Thanks for being
Glad
here.
we showed that first and not the mess that was the 18 frames before that.
That is hilarious. It's good to have you here, man. We appreciate it. And what a whirlwind week you had. Truly remarkable, man. Seriously.
It's been wild. It really has. You know, it's dream come true, right? It's just dream come true.
Yeah, for sure. Johnny, lead it off, bro.
You know, my first question for Gary is this. Everybody, like, you're part-time. You're obviously not out on tour full-time. A lot of times bowlers will go to a tournament like the Masters or the US Open, and you'll ask them, or they'll say, yeah, I'm bowling the Masters this year. And you'll hear them converse with other people about what their expectations are. You'll hear some people say, I'm going out there to try and win. I'm going out there to try and cash. I'm going out there for the experience. Everybody's got their own reason that's not out there full-time. What was your mentality walking into the Masters? Where were you meant? Like, what was your main, I guess everybody's objective is to win, obviously, but like, what was your main objective when you started the week? What was going on in the brain?
So this was my 5th Masters. I had made the cut in Cavalier. I had made the cut in Syracuse. And then I really only bowled when it was on the East Coast. And then 2 years ago in Detroit, that was like the first time I like traveled for it, whatever. And I only bowled good the last day, which was a little frustrating because that was another year the left was pretty good, right? So I would say my goal for the Masters every time is usually make the cut, right? That's always the battle. And especially the 2 years I made it, I didn't win a match. I lost both matches both years, right? So my first goal is make the cut, right? And that should be everybody's first goal walking into that tournament because it starts brand new once that's done, right?
Absolutely. You were the only person to go undefeated, which, again, I always say in the Masters, you have to win the tournament 7 or 8 different times against 7 or 8 different players minimum. And you're not bowling one-game matches, or in your case where you had to be beaten twice as the tournament leader, the only undefeated player of the week. But you had to literally beat everybody in 3-game matches across every pair in the building, different opponents, different kinds of scores. Does your mentality change from game to game? Are you progressively more into it? Is like what's going on because that's the part that I wish people could see about the Masters is forget the physical, but the mental grind that goes into each and every single one of those matches. So kind of walk me through the tournament. Like, did you kind of loosen up after you made it through the first few rounds because you previously said that you had lost in the opening rounds? Were there constant jitters? Were you complete control? Walk us through everything, man.
So before we even get to match play, I don't know if you saw how I made it into match play. I don't know if you saw any of that.
I personally did not, but please share.
All right. So the last game of qualifying, I was the 2nd squad on Wednesday. So I didn't quite know the number yet. But my last game in the 7th inning, sorry, I got the Met game on too.
6-5 win, baby.
Of the 7th frame, we actually had a breakdown that lasted like 20, 30 minutes. Okay. And I'm 94 over. The cut ended up being 97, I think it was, or 96. I think 96. So I was 94 over at the time going into the last game. I'm decent, clean, maybe 1 double early, maybe an open early, whatever I am. I'm sparing out for 2-0 at this time. And the lane breaks down when we wait 20, 30 minutes, discussing are we going to move, discussing what's going on. Finally, I'm amped up, right? Because I'm right on the borderline. Okay. Yeah. And then they get the lanes somewhat fixed and we're going to bowl. Okay. They let us have 2 shots on each because that's 2 shots on the opposite lane we were bowling on because that's how long we waited. And they were like, I saw I was amped up. And I threw a really bad shot. I leave the 2-4, 7-8, 10 in the 8th frame. Okay. The lane breaks again after I threw my shot. Now we waited.
Strike ball?
Right. So I leave the split.
Oh my God.
I leave the split. The lane breaks again. Okay. On the right lane.
Oh my.
Now we're waiting again. And then we decide we're finishing the game just on the left lane. Like that's how long it was. Like instead of moving pairs, we're finishing on the left lane. Okay. They set up the spare on the left lane. And I chuck it towards the 2-4-7. Hits the 10 pin, comes around, hits the 8 pin.
Oh, wow.
Rooming with Michael Martell, I turn around and I go to him and I'm like, I have to ball up for the next 3 shots because I'm amped up. I'm throwing it hard. So I actually made a ball change and threw a triple to basically end up making this cut. I mean, I was like 20, 30 in the long run, but I don't throw a double. I don't make the cut. If I bowl 202 or less, I'm not in. So I think that's something to really like talk about because I feel like that really, you know, when that all happened, it was so crazy. Like we were so far behind, like everybody was behind our pair because everybody else was done. So it was a really, you know, extreme way to finish considering what happened after the fact that I ended up winning the tournament. It's such a big part of how that week went. And, you know, the emotional roller coaster of that, like I left the split, I'm kicking bags. I'm thinking I'm done, right? Like, just like, this is how we're going to get knocked out of this tournament is this, right? So honestly, the reason why I bring that up is because when I went into match play, first off room with Mike, we actually ended up in the same bracket. If we both won the first match, we would have bowled each other. So he brought that up. And I was like, honestly, if I haven't won a match at the Masters yet, if I win and you win, and that's why I'm bowling you, I was already, you know, we're already off to a great start, right? So honestly, I really did a really good job in match play, really taking it frame by frame. And I got out pretty much to the lead most of the matches, which was, it makes it a little more comforting that you get away with that the first game ahead, right? So it's all about keeping it frame by frame, you know, really making smart decisions, playing them lane to lane, you know, going on different pairs where maybe lefty was, and really making the smart decisions. And you don't get there having one of the best weeks of your life. And I feel like that's what I did. You know what I mean?
Well, it definitely shows. As far as ball selection throughout the week, obviously we saw you throw in the stealth mode on television. Did you use a lot of different bowling balls throughout the week, or did you just stick to a basic few?
So qualifying, it was mostly a radical max bias. I had a pin down one with some little less surface and a pin up one with like a lot of surface. A 3D offset, assault, the red one. That's really all I used in qualifying. And then I drilled a troublemaker solid for match play because I felt like I wanted something a little more earlier, a little more rounded for match play, which was perfect. I mean, I burnt up the first pair great, ball 258 the first game of the first match, right? So it was the right ball selection for that. And then on the pairs where I caught a lefty during match play, so game 3 against Packy, we followed Jesper Svensson. I used a Theorem Pearl that I went to, and I also used the Theorem Pearl for all 3 games against Stubler following Anthony Nair and Brandon Bones match on the burn. So just making a lot of really good decisions, you know, which I think is what it takes to win those matches because they're not easy.
You got
3
that.
games, it's crazy.
Welcome back, Red Rob.
Hey, thanks. I was just trying to fix some technical issues with a couple of our streams. So,
did we get it all handled?
Yes. No, we're good. And I think Ocho finally showed up too. So let's bring in our co-host, who's
finally. Don't act like this was a rain delay that my freaking laptop just got buried in. I mean, this is I'm prepared, obviously. Ocho battles the elements. We got everything in place. And sure enough, I run in for a second just to kiss my daughter like a good dad would. And freaking the skies opened up. Apparently this wind was so freaking magnified, you threw the whole Northeast off, man.
Gary, this is our resident house hack from Howell Lanes in New Jersey, Dr.
Awesome.
Ocho.
Congrats, buddy. Congrats,
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Awesome theater. Loved it.
Yeah, everybody loves the conversation between you and Dino.
Yeah, I believe that took center stage for this whole deal, which I'm glad. It kind of takes away how the rest of the match went.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Honestly,
go ahead.
The timing of it, that to then get up there after the Brooklyn 5-pin and to go give her the kiss after Dino's advice and then just absolutely ace it in the ninth.
Cured it.
That's pure magic, dude. I mean,
it's cool.
You got everybody with that one, and anybody that didn't feel about that can screw themselves.
Hey, whatever, I got a master's trophy here. I got money. You know what I mean? I don't really care. It bothered me at first because there was so much hate online, right? Like, this guy sucks. He's a hack. But you guys have any idea what I'm going through the first time on TV? You have no idea. And I think it got really exaggerated because it was a 2-game match, right? So you know, like in one podcast, somebody had said, I wish I didn't even listen to it. They were like, that was the worst performance they've ever seen in a bowling tournament. And I'm like, do we not remember
some guy shoot 100 like not too long ago
against a 299?
Yeah,
right. Like maybe a little pushing that I know I bowled bad. I will not sugarcoat it. Threw it terrible. Absolutely, the pressure, the lights, the lanes got to me.
Yeah, but you beat him to the punch, man. You said it literally in the post-match interview. You were like, I'm gonna state a fact. I got every break, and you stated facts. Like that's like killing them softly right there, man. So whatever they got to say after that, that's on them.
Regardless of what you bowled, you beat a top 3 bowler in the world who bowled worse. So people should be shitting on Simo, not you.
And I had to beat him in a 3-game match to be number 1, right? So
exactly.
You know,
haters are gonna hate, and they're all jealous because they can't.
I'm learning that, right? You know, it's funny because like Belmo called me. He was like the first one to call me, and he's like, "Stay off social media," right? He's like, "They're gonna hate." And then I thought about it too, right? You know, if I had bowled 258 and he struggled, they would have been like, well, the left was walled, right? It doesn't matter.
No win, buddy.
The problem with bowling, doesn't matter which way you go, they got something to say. And it's just, whatever.
Bro, you're a New Yorker. You can handle it.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's why you should have been on social media. I could just see some freaking tweets right now like, F you, you stupid fuck. I saw you. You didn't know nothing. And again, you said it, man. You had to win from Wednesday on. They got freaking
a small glimpse on TV and whatever.
We talk about that on the show all the time. You know, like I'm a big golf fan, and we get to watch the guys play for 4.5 hours a day, Thursday through Sunday. And, you know, sure, they'll highlight the couple shanks here and there or the shots in the water, but these are also guys that are 12, 13 under at the end of 4 days, the end of 72 holes. You were the only player throughout the week that nobody beats. You beat everybody. And then you beat one of the best in the world on television, your first television show ever, to win a major and $100,000 check. I don't care how you get. They gave Boog Kroll the same crap for going Brooklyn.
I was going to say the same thing.
To this day, they give Belmo crap for throwing it with 2 hands. Meanwhile, 60% of the youth bowlers now throw it with 2 hands.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, any publicity is good publicity. So just kind of always remember, just keep that in the back of your brain. Whatever negative shit comes out of people's mouths, you're the champion, and people always, like Rad Rob said, always want to hate rather than give praise. And the good ones will give you praise, and those are the ones you keep in your corner. And you obviously know that already.
Yeah, and I feel like the good bowlers understand, like, I can't help that they fell, right? I know I threw it bad. I can't help the breaks. And I know that Simonson understood, because I was just like, when he embraced me, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry for all the breaks. It's crazy. And he knew. He's just like, dude, the pins fall. That's bowling. Like, that's enjoy the win, right? And I feel like people on social media are missing that part because they don't understand it. They've never been in it, right? You know,
I missed the first part. Like, so, were you really just like shitting yourself? Because I mean, you said the pressure got to me. Like, were you almost like out of body? Because you dialed it in when you had to. So
yes,
at least
I think my wife had some magic in that one. I mean, let's face it. Whatever that moment did, it just. And if I did notice, and it was a discussion with my dad afterwards, because he was just like, he's like, normally you take a deep breath. Normally you kind of pull your shoulders back. He's like, there was shots. He looked at the shot clock. He's like, you had 20 seconds left before you even threw a shot. So just going quick. Now, I would love to name off tons of excuses, right? It was humid in there. The approaches were tackier than it was the other thing. There's so many things that go on, and so many things I learned. You know, I think I was trying so hard to eliminate the pressure bowling for a major title, right? You know, by like, you know, I already get 50,000, right? What is it?
Right.
We're here to have fun. I think I should have embraced the you know, the pressure of the title and the extra 50,000, right? Maybe that would have got my head in a better place. Really embracing the fact of that stuff.
Almost make you tune you in more
hard to push it away, right?
Yeah. you could tune yourself in almost more, which again, that's mostly what your guys are, you're professional athletes. That's what you do. That's why there's a lot more success than failures when it comes to situations like this. So, but hey, now you know. Now you know.
We learned. Maybe one day I'll get back on there and get to.
No, maybe you broke through, man. I get it. Full time. I get it. Let's get out there, and it can be done.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
So does that mean no more PTQs?
Yeah, which is wild considering I only bowled once in my life the PTQ. I bowled the Delaware one, and I signed up so early for the Players next week because I had already planned on bowling it, and they had opened the field to everybody already. So like, I've got one PTQ under my belt, and they're like, "Well, no more." I'm like, "Awesome."
That's so cool.
Take that, haters.
And not that we don't expect great things from you, but I mean, if by chance you never get there again, you still have.
I did it once.
You still did it once,
the dream, right?
Which is more than any of us can say.
And it's on TV.
I did it on
YouTube.
the biggest possible tournament, the Masters.
Against one of the biggest.
When I go to the Open every year, it's going to be right there. Oh, you're 2025 Masters champion. You know what I mean? It's just, the Masters is usually one I choose every year. There's going to be a banner with my name on it. It's crazy.
So cool.
Crazy.
I don't know if you guys talked about it, but did it almost look like Simo, by going urethane on that right lane, did he try almost not to lose rather than, because again, he kept going high every time. Like, I feel like he got tight,
Yeah, I feel like his breaking point, because I think he was like, all right, if I shove it on that lane, he's good, right? Because I'm struggling. So he gets to 210, he won, right?
Yeah.
And I think he felt that way. Then he went 4-9 in
that's
right. And if you notice, he threw 2 bad shots after that 4-9.
Right on the note,
Which sucks, right? He leaves the 4-9 after I'm like knocking everything over. So, you know what I mean? I could put myself in his shoes, and that's tough to deal with, right? So then he goes, what? He goes 3, I was too busy talking to Dino at that point, but what do you go, the 3-6-10 twice after that?
Yeah.
Right? So, now he's pressing, right? Because he thought he was taking the safe route. Then he goes 4-9. Like, that was a big turning point for him, I feel like, in that game.
Sure.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to wedge that urethane in there, like knowing not to make a mistake. And every time, as soon as he threw it, his hands were up. He was like, "Shit, it's going high again."
Yeah, he was trying to shove it. He was trying to shove it in there. And I feel
what you meant. Okay,
I understand he did that on a few other matches that he was shoving the shot. So I'm sure he's the best in the world. Whatever he was trying to do, I'm sure he was very confident in doing it. You know what I mean?
I think that's a pattern that we haven't seen either. Like, so I don't know if
it was an interesting one.
It was like an hourglass shape, I think.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was weird. What was your look? I mean, what were you expecting when you first kind of threw your practice shots?
It surprisingly had some more friction because that place already has friction. So there was a little hook early, like 7-8, and which is good, right? On 44 feet, if you can get your ball to face up a little bit, you can kind of make a good look. And then I kept in qualifying, because you always go in there with the thoughts, I need 210 a game, right?
Right.
And the sad part is the first game, I bowled 147. I started off every box slow. I bowled 680 for the back 3 the first set, 670 the back set, the back 3 the second set, and whatever happened the last set. But you know what I mean? So,
well, if you open with 140 and you said you qualify with around 100 over, that means
117 over. Yeah,
you went 150 over for 14 games.
Yeah.
So that's just fine. There's your 210 a game, right?
Yeah, and that was more because I was bowling with a lefty. I don't want to throw his name out there, but he likes surface, right? So he was trying to dig a hole, and I felt like I could bounce off of it the first game, and I couldn't. It wasn't there. So next thing you know, a few splits, a few bad, a few missed spares, and you're like, shit, I'm ready.
Larry, there's a good question. If you're assuming another lefty on your pair, is it actually a good question for the left side? Because as far as transition, I will give this to the righties. We don't face it nearly as much as the right-handers do. But when you're expecting somebody using a lot of surface and your game plan is to use it as bounce and it doesn't work, what then is your move?
So it took me till the middle of the second game. And now me and Mike bowled separate squads. And he's like, dude, I think you just got to get back left, right? And just forget that he exists, right? So I moved left with the 3D offset that game, and like I bailed out 190 game 2. So I'm 60 under through 2, right?
Do you pick your speed up at all when you do that? Like, because now you're you're still going to go through it the same way.
It all depends, right? So
you got to see it go first, and then you figure out from there, I would assume.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty good at moving my eyes front to back. If I need to slow it up, speed it up. So qualifying, I tried more keeping it in front of you, if you're picking up the speed. Mostly because, like I said, when you're at the Masters, 210 is like the number, right? If you average 210, you make the cut almost every time, right? There's been a couple of years where they were a little bit more higher scoring and even lower scoring.
Does that put pressure on you though, too? Like, because now you already have it in your head, and if you come at 147, and you're like, boy.
Yeah, like I said, I literally told my wife, I'm like, just pack it up, we're done, we're going home, right? Like I was very starting off like that, but then I bowled 680 for the back 3.
Yeah.
You get the 30 over, and you're like, all right, well, that's a decent start considering where we were, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, sorry, John. I'm sure you're going to have a thought there. So, first time on TV, and obviously you've been watching it for years, I'm assuming. Being there and seeing the lights, seeing the production, did you get butterflies, or were you like, holy shit, this is like the coolest thing ever? Or both?
Luckily, which it didn't help, but luckily they had the prelim show. So went there, kind of got to watch. I watched the whole show, try to see. I was trying to gauge the shot clock and see if it would annoy me, trying to feel everything out. Luckily, they did a little interview with me there. I got my feet wet a little bit with that stuff, right? I didn't have to walk in Sunday and just start here's your first ever interview with Kimberly Pressler.
Sure.
Meanwhile, I'm already nervous because you're bowling on TV, right? So it was cool to see all that. It didn't help me all that much, obviously, but it was nice to.
Are you trying to tell yourself, don't sound stupid in the interview? Don't screw up in front of Kimberly. Don't swear. Because that's, I almost wonder,
It's crazy because it's like, all right, she kind of gives you an idea what she's going to ask, right? But then you got 10 minutes to come up with something. Meanwhile, you're practicing, right?
Right.
You're like, shit, she's going to interview me. She interviewed me right before the match. So it's like, all right, I'm practicing. I'm in my own head. And then I gotta come up with something to say. Right.
And then I have a creative writing lesson in front of me.
Right. And then I'm just like, I'm bowling for 50,000. I'm not bowling for a living. So this is great. I already won. Well, apparently nobody like that. Don't say that.
I knew it. I mean, we knew what you meant when you said that.
Good, yeah.
Well, and
you're on a free roll.
Kind of helped out too. I feel like.
Yeah.
Did it help? Let's talk about the money there for a sec.
Yeah.
Did it help you sleep better the night before, knowing you were guaranteed at least $50K extra in your bank account?
Sure. I didn't sleep Friday night.
I was going to say no sleep at all.
Didn't sleep Friday night. Right? I was so tired after the prelim show. I was falling asleep at dinner. So I couldn't help but sleep the night before my show.
Sheer exhaustion is one.
I asked that because even when I go and bowl a regional, I can't sleep the night before. And I can't even I've never actually known what it feels like to wake up knowing I'm going to be on television the next day. So it's
wild.
Actually fanboy question from me. Which, by the way, Ocho, you weren't here. Gary mentioned something at the top of the show that I didn't even know about. Gary, you had mentioned something about a regional contract about a decade ago.
Oh, yeah. After 2013, I was East Region Rookie of the Year, and then senior gave me my first deal, right? And with Radical at the time.
Shit.
I didn't own a pro shop. I didn't work in a pro shop. Didn't work in the industry, and that felt good, right? Because I'm not in the industry. That means I was bowling good enough where they felt I should
get noticed. Hell yeah! Holy shit!
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that's Johnny Senior. He's got a good eye for talent, doesn't he?
Yeah, you could say that.
I guess lefties too.
No shit, right? By the way, PD's in the house. He says, "Congrats, Gary." What's up, Patrick?
Awesome. Thanks, Pat.
I like what Tim Foy said earlier too. Tim Foy had written that it was one of the best, literally the best shows he's ever seen.
That's awesome.
That's high
Steve.
praise from
Dude, it was freaking theater, man. It was drama. It had everything. It had more. Again, the Dino talk. I'm telling you, that should have been on Sports Center. That should be on PTI. That's got to be like, that's legendary, man.
I wish we can get better coverage for that, because it is. That's a Disney movie, like waiting to
all,
happen.
all the edits, I love it. My actual favorite one, somebody like put clown music of me missing the 247 by a fucking mile. Sorry for my language, and then they go at 3-9. They go at 3-9, and then they just like change the music, and they go to me kissing my wife, and then throw in like an ace of a shot in that ninth frame. It's like, it is crazy.
Hell yeah, dude. That's absolutely awesome.
When you threw that first shot in the 10th and you left the 10 pin, where you're like, what the fuck? Like, seriously.
I loved it off my hand. And, thank God I didn't need it.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't actually need the hit. And I mean, that was probably inches away from a 6-8. Let's face it. Like,
it creeped at the very end, but still, it was dead flush.
That could have been a 6-8. That could have been it, which I would have looked like an idiot that I walked it off. But
it was a weird snap in the back end. Like, I didn't expect it to hit that high.
That pair had some interesting hits. Even like the first frame of that last game, the last game, where I went like. And I think it was on the left. It was the right lane. The same thing. I smashed 10. The 10 went late. The first frame.
When it tomahawked that like late.
Yeah, so kind of the same hit, but it fell. So
it walked off basically. It walked off the back of the freaking.
Yeah.
Lane,
So yeah. So I feel like it was close to the same as that shot.
That's geometry for you there too. That's why they don't
Seriously.
think, you got to be a physics major, a geometry major, a freaking a ball rep. You got to do all these things. There's so much science involved, and they're like, just kiss your wife and throw it. Well, fuck it, why not? I'll do it.
I mean, I think everybody's gonna be kissing their wives before.
The movie Tin Cup, when he's got the yips.
Yeah. Put your change in your pocket. I literally thought of that.
That's true.
I mean, shit, the Met game tonight, they took out the starting catcher and they put in Torrens. He makes the game-saving tag in one inning. Then he throws out a guy at second, and he gets on base. And they put extras after being down for it takes something that minute sometimes. And thank goodness for people like Dino to be there in a situation where they've already felt what you were feeling, so they can offer that kind of advice. It wasn't the ball choice. Whether you were throwing the troublemaker solid or the stealth mode, you obviously switched to the right ball. It was all about getting you to do what you had done for the entire week. And you did it when you had to do it. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, I feel like he was clearly like unsure what else to say, because, hey, you're throwing it hard, let's move left.
Yeah.
Hey, let's try to slow you down, let's move right. And like he was trying everything, and God bless him, because I was so all over the map. And that's why when we tried to go left and harder, I threw it worse, right? Because then I was trying to create speed, but I'm trying to keep my feet slow. Like the timing was just so off, right? So then when we tried
it looked like you were ripping the cover off it too. Also,
it was just a mess, right? So I feel like he finally was like, all right, what do I got to say to this guy to get him out of his own head? Because at that point, he's just like, well, what's going on? Like, I even point to my head before he says it, right? I'm like, it's all here. Like, I know it. Like, I'm lost. I'm in a whirlwind. It's not what we're trying to do. I can't do what we're trying to do, right? And it's simply because my head was just spinning.
It ain't the 60 feet of lane. It's the 6 inches, right? Freaking here, man.
It's just crazy. And I guess he took hey, go kiss your wife. And then I didn't at first, right? He's like, call timeout right now and go kiss your wife, right? And I'm like, that's the strangest thing I could possibly do in this moment, right? And then I go up there and totally yank another one and messenger the 5-pin, and I'm like, well, what do we got to lose now, right?
And dude, with the confidence, you were like, hey, come here.
My poor wife sees me waving her over, and she's like, what?
That's what
she don't hear Dino. She didn't hear all that, so she's like, what's going on? And then and then she just kind of got up, and she was just like, come on, babe, like totally handled it well once she got up. But
so did you though, because it wasn't a subtle thing. Like you weren't like, oh, okay, I get. You were like, hey, honey, get over here.
Well, I had a timeout. I wouldn't be surprised if I got a shot clock violation for all that. Like, I don't even know what happened.
So we got you as Rocky, we got her as Adrian, and we got Dino as Mickey. So it's You
That's
know,
right.
that's what people are liking it too. Is just a guy, a southpaw
Dude,
coming out of nowhere.
even in years to come, this is going to be legendary. I'm not. This is let it happen, man. Fuck whoever's gonna say shit. Pardon my language. I swear, this is gonna be legendary down the line.
Whatever happened. But like next year when they start doing a recap, they're not going to show you the bad shots, right?
No, they're just going to show you kissing your wife and winning.
They're going to show that, and that's all.
And he needs this to win. Kisses his wife, cures it, bam, game over. End of story. Man, that's the story. Oh, this gets me so jacked up.
Eric Raymond says the greatest TV, hands down. Yeah, I mean, it's just
he's a little biased. That's my wife's cousin.
Okay, all right. Well, others have said the same thing, and it really was. It's like Ocho says, it's the theater, it's the drama, it's the story. That's what we want to watch for. That's who we want to root for is the underdog. And
dude, I was nervous. I'm not.
Not that we weren't rooting against Simo. But I mean,
what's this guy going through? I'm panicked over here. I'm nervous. I'm like, man.
My butt cheeks were clenched. I was pulling for you in every shot too.
No, I appreciate it, man.
I love Simo too, but damn, everybody wants to see the underdog win. It's just great. Same with D-Ron. Same with
just wish the game. The underdog story is awesome. Would have been nicer to just bowl as the underdog. Good, right?
Right. Just bury him. Yeah. No, I get it.
That's the only thing I wish was, I got a lot of luck. I will never sugarcoat it. I got lucky on TV. Clear as day. Up until the end is when I threw it, right? But there was a lot of luck involved, and that's just the fact.
There has to be though, because I mean, bowling is one of the only sports where you can ace a shot and leave 5. That's what Simonelli always loves to say. Like, I ace a shot just to leave 5.
Oh,
like,
what was the phrase he used?
I think it's what he said, like
or something like that.
I aced another shot just to leave 5, or it was something.
No, it was like I aced another 5. Something. Yeah. It was funnier and had more.
That's just the way bowling is. You just never know how the pins are going to fall.
Yeah,
and it's you just happen to. I'm not gonna say you got lucky.
No, we could say it, man.
It was meant to be.
I don't know.
Or at least part of that game, it was there.
How many Brooklyn Messenger 5 pins have we seen? So maybe that is skill. Like that, if you didn't have your hand in it, that messenger ain't peeling off and grabbing that 5 pin.
So you're saying I grabbed it perfectly?
Absolutely.
Everybody's watching tonight. Danny Wiseman says congrats.
Good thing you didn't give your wife a pat on the rump. You might have got too much of it.
We got Petey in the house. We got Liz Johnson. We got Danny Wiseman. There's everyone's coming to see you. You brought everybody to the yard. So
I love it. I miss. Danny was bowling regionals when I first started bowling regionals. Danny's a good guy.
He is a very good guy. We love Danny so much. Even Patrick says it's not how, it's how many. I mean, dude, it just you still won. And nobody can take that away from you. You shouldn't feel like it was tainted because you made bad. Fuck it, dude. You got to take the whole week.
I know. It took me a couple days to really focus on that, right? Yeah. But that's. I mean, I went 6-0 at the Masters. Forget, just leading up to that.
And your thought process and the way you're talking about it speaks volumes of your character. Everybody that bowls, we're all perfectionists. We always want to be perfect.
Yeah.
You're like, here you are, the Masters champion. Nobody beat you the entire week. And somewhere in your brain, you're still saying, man, I wish that I threw those X amount of shots better than I did. So the true underdogs, like, you're so perfect in your own brain. And that's what makes a champion. It's the reason you won, dude. Because you're thinking like that. And that's what haters do not understand.
No, it was funny because we go out to dinner afterwards, and my family, Paul, Scotty, my wife, and Mike, of course, I was there, and they're looking at me, and I was a little down a little bit, and they're like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I bowled terrible on TV," and they're like, "Yeah, but you won." I'm like, "I know, but I bowled bad." You know what I mean? Like, it's just the reality of it, but I won.
Bro, it's like a bowl like shit and win a Masters. I mean, I think any of us would love to have that.
That's how good you gotta be, man. I'm telling you.
Right. You're bowling against the best in the world, literally. Like, who gives a shit how you did it or how you got there? Like, you did it, bro. Like, that's.
I get what he's saying.
I do too, because you're like,
it's still.
Boog went through the same shit too, and he said
I'm
the
sure
same
he
thing.
did. I'm sure. I mean,
but that's why it's going to be legendary down the line.
Yeah. Especially with your wife and Dino. Like, it's just so cool, man. It all fell into place.
So, Gary, now walking into the players,
do you have a similar mindset, different format? I mean, like it's different oil condition, but are you going in there with obviously a little bit of extra confidence or belief in your own abilities? Are you going there approaching it the same way you approach this Masters from start?
You know, it's a new tournament, right? Can't go in there with any extra confidence. It's a much longer format. The Players is a long week, especially if you keep making it, right? 8 games, and then it's 16. You know, if you make the top half of the field, you bowl 8 in the morning, and then you made the top 24. You bowl 8 games that night, 16 the next day. It's a long format.
Does that suit you better, or is that like?
No, I think I think the shorter deal helped me. The 5 games a day. You know, I'm not that I'm old, but I'm 36, right? So
No, yeah, I got it.
when I bowled, I bowled the regional up in Binghamton like 2 weeks before that, right? And it's funny how this all worked out because I led after 22 games and had a rough 2-game finish, end up in 5th. So it's actually funny that I turn around and do this because I was already pretty, disappointed in my finish up there. But that bowling the 8 games of qualifying, and then we bowled 4-game cashers round with 12 round robins, so 16 that day. By the time I got home, oh man, I was sore, man. I was tired. So knowing that this is kind of like that multiplied, it's gonna be
you're in for.
It's gonna be different. It's so definitely I will definitely say the Masters kind of format definitely let me stay a little more healthy that week. It's probably the best way to put it, right? Stay a little more.
Yeah. How hard was it to go back to work Monday?
It's fine. I didn't even make it to work.
So, good.
I would have loved to go to work. It would have saved me vacation time for the next stuff coming up.
Right.
The funny thing is, we're sitting there. It's like 6 o'clock, and we're ready to go to the airport. And my wife's like, "Our flight's delayed till 11." And I'm like, "Jesus!" And then like 20 minutes later, it got delayed to 11:30. And then my buddy's like, "Let's just go rent a car and drive home." I'm like, "That's what we're gonna do tonight? We're gonna rent a car and drive 10 hours straight home?" Right? So that's what we ended up doing. So I didn't get home. So like when we were in the car, like 2 hours in, I had to call work and be like, I can't make it. And they're all like, "Well, we expected you to call." I'm like, "Well, I'm in the car all day. We're not celebrating. We're driving." So I didn't even make
funny
it
if they gave you a hard time. We're like, "No, you son of a, you're getting docked now for this one. You didn't make it to work Monday."
Yeah, right. Oh no, you're gonna dock me.
No, I tell you what, I'll cash my $100,000 and I'll put it in where I would have made my money on that day.
Right. So, I'm assuming you're going to be exempt for next year.
I'm pretty sure I'm exempt for 10 years.
Forever, right? I mean,
maybe I've heard both ways. I don't know this because it's a major. I don't know how it works.
This is beautiful.
Well, for the Masters next year, I'm in the cut automatically.
No matter what.
But I got a bowl for seeding, and seeding is important. Like Booker got knocked out. Well, he actually survived quite a bit in the eliminators bracket, but he got put in the eliminators bracket, for seconds. He didn't bowl that great, so he had to bowl number 1 seed. Right. So you still want to try to seed. But no, I possibly because of the Masters being a major, I think the exemption is longer. I don't know. I have to find out. Definitely 10 years exemption for just winning a title. Right. So, but I don't know how much that means for me. Just because I have a union job, it's not as easy to just pick up and go out there, right?
Yeah.
So, my goal right now is to figure out a way to bowl the majors every year because I can, right? Yep. So I think that's where my head's at right now for future is get to all the majors because that's where the big money is. That's where stuff like that, leaks like this happen.
Gary, was your family out there in Detroit with you for the entire week, or did they fly out when they knew you made television? Like, when did they get out there?
So my wife drove with me there. My car is still there. I actually my whole plan was to drive there, fly home, fly back, have the car there for the Players, and then drive home. So my wife took the drive with me. She stayed for the first day of qualifying, and then she went home to work because she planned on staying the whole week of the Players. So she flew back Saturday morning with my 2 friends. My parents were like poor timing. They were actually in Disney with my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece and nephew. So they had to leave their vacation, fly for the TV show Saturday night.
Selfish, man. Freaking Gary.
Then they went back.
Hey, if your car's in Detroit, is it in a garage or is it going to be on cinder blocks by the time you get back over there?
It's in some parking thing that's got cameras. I hope it's still there when I get there, but who
You're going to be
knows?
like, all right, I got an axle and a hubcap. What do I do now?
I mean, I guess you could
I'm
use.
hoping it's good.
I guess you could use a little bit of the money to buy a new vehicle if you have to.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that. So
Don't scare the guy. His car's fine. 8
why
miles.
would it be so negative? No, everything's fine, I'm
solid
sure.
10 minutes from Thunderbolt.
Yeah,
So
everything's-
Jerome Bettis is a Detroit guy. You'll put in a call, right, JP? And he's
Yeah, take care of that, yeah.
and he's a bowler too, Jerome
look
Bettis.
out for
So.
Gary's car. Thanks, Bus.
So let's play a little bit of armchair quarterback. Let's just say you win another tournament. Like let's just say you win the Master or the Players or the TOC. Does that kind of make you want to just do it full time next year? You think if you have more success, or are you still going to stay grounded with your job and just?
It's
just
funny.
play by
My
ear?
wife's on the couch going, yes, yes, yes. Of course, but, I mean, not to sound cocky, I have retirement. I got a pension. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Of course.
It's hard to pick up and do that, right? Especially, I will not say that all of a sudden I won the Masters. I'm part of the elite, bowling them week in, week out. I had a week it all came together, right? I got 10 years that it didn't come together, right?
Sure.
So I'm not all of a sudden the best in the world, and I'm never going to claim to be, right? I had a week, it all clicked. I had a week, I put it together, right? So to act like I'm going to go out there and make even close to what I make working is a way not happen. Like I won't even say it. You know what I mean? Like it's not realistic.
Right.
We talk about that on the show all of the time. I mean, the life of being on tour, except for a very, very, very select few, is extremely, extremely difficult, especially when you have, like you said, pension, a union occupation, something that you can live a beautiful life with and then bowl and enjoy it even more so than having to rely on that weekly paycheck.
Right. This, bowling for me, when I got this job, I kind of put it bowling on, secondary. But it's always been that hobby that pays for itself. And sometimes you got some extra cash in your pocket, right? You go to a local tournament, win $3,000, awesome, right? You go to the Open and win some money in the brackets, or like I won the BTM in 2017 for 10, 12,000 after everything there. Awesome when you get these nice bigger paydays, right? But I take that money and that's what I buy equipment with. That's what I go bowl the next event with, stay at hotels with, right? So it's always been this really cool hobby that pays for itself. Getting this big check is awesome. It's great, but doesn't mean that's going to happen all the time. And that's just the reality of it. I mean, there was somebody that was 13th in points last year, but he bowled good at the wrong events and his earnings was like $23,000. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality of the tour.
Yes, it absolutely is. Couldn't have said it even more. And obviously all the greats and the guys that have done it both ways are in complete agreement as well with it.
Yeah.
There's been a very, very select batch of guys who were able to go out there and bowl and then make a solid living and not have to worry week to week, but also involved heavily in other aspects of the sport, whether it be with a ball company or somebody like Parker Bone, who's constantly doing things with fan clubs and bowling center operations and training facilities and all the other things. But no, I mean, like you said, that's to be grounded and have security is paramount to anything else. And the fact that you can be able to have that home structure, as well as, like you said, fill your time on the lanes, doing something you love, having it pay for yourself, snag a few extra dollars here and there. That's what it is all about. So it's just absolutely awesome, man. And that's one of my good friends, Georgie. We were actually talking about all this yesterday, sitting on his couch before league. It's really, 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 it was really, really spectacular television theater to watch. And we all could not be happier for you. It was really, really.
Oh, we got Tim Foy, Senior and Junior in here tonight. What's going on? Welcome.
Thanks, Tim. Love it.
So, plus, think about, I mean, we're not sugarcoating. Like, he got a $100,000 check. That's going to be about 56 grand probably when all said and done. I'm not trying to, like, downplay anything, but big tax chunk, unfortunately. So,
yeah,
like,
it is. Whatever. I'm going to call, I haven't even gotten the money yet, but I'm going to call the tax guy and see, call my accountant and figure out what the best way to handle it is. But, yeah, it's cool.
It's still no. Look, and again, it's you got. We're being realistic about it too, and this is something like we keep saying we're going to talk to somebody about, and just about like because when they'll say, "Oh, the first man to earn $1 million," well, he didn't get. He got probably half of that because of all the taxes he had to pay.
Yeah.
So,
also, really quick, add into that.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead, John.
The guys that are out there full time, you have to include the weekly expenses every single week that you're out there. Also,
right.
Be right back.
No, that's a big deal.
Let my dog out real quick. She's whining. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, that's a big deal. Patrick says about 25%. Yeah, I mean,
that's fair. 20, 30. I figured 30 to be safe.
Definitely set a little more aside. I know accounting very well. I just set a little more than that aside. When it comes to the bigger number, they get about 40, 35-ish, 40-ish. I hope they don't. Believe me, just prepare for it. That's all.
Yeah, whatever
guys,
it is. I mean, I have no intentions of spending all this money before the tax season. Right.
Right. I mean, for all intents and purposes, traveling expenses aside, you're on a free roll. Like you're on house money from the rest of the season. I mean, honestly,
yeah.
Whatever happens, happens.
This is a good couple of years for how often he bowls, man.
Well, depending on what your what your schedule will be, but I mean, it's
the
knowing
glory.
the fact that you don't have to bowl another PTQ. We've had so many guys like Nate Garcia on the show who just burnt out from bowling PTQs, and he's a great bowler.
I mean, I'm sure the expenses he's got to pay to go to these PTQs, and then like I bowled the one in Delaware, and 90 guys for 4 spots. It is brutal.
Yes,
and they're all good.
Yeah,
these aren't 90 slouches. These are good bowlers.
Yeah, you're not talking a 190 average league bowler on a house shot. You got some hitters. I don't know if you guys talked about it too, but even with like your brain fog and everything, dude, you looked like you hit it well. Is all I can say. Because like I don't know what your pre-shot routine is. I know you said you probably bucked up a little quicker. There was 18 seconds left, but like you didn't show it. Like you were verbing it to the verbiage was there, but you weren't. You couldn't see like pacing and like the I don't know, man. It looked like. I don't know. You hit it well, and again, you still freaking won. That's the beautiful thing. But that's why I don't know if like you have like a good like poker face or something maybe, or like now maybe
I don't know.
Tim, he mentioned he's got a great union job and pension and benefits and all that, so he's not.
I'm going to try to bowl the majors every year for sure. The World Series might be tough, but my goal from here on out is to try to at least get to all the majors.
Gary, are you an electrician? You a plumber, pipe fitter?
So I'm like Homer Simpson to really make a joke. I'm an operator in a steam power plant.
All right.
Yeah.
So you got the nuclear thing, and you wore the pink shirt the one day when they
no nuclear for me, but similar. Yeah.
You don't get any more blue collar.
I mean, look, dude, people would kill for that. That's not something that you just stumble across in the paper.
It's something I've been there 11 years, and I put my time in there. So like it's hard to just see you later, right?
No, you'd be a fool. A fool. Not that you wouldn't do good, but it's what's guaranteed to what you may get. Let's do a little bit of both, man. I'll guarantee this, and then hey, when you're 55, you'll be on the senior tour knocking the shit out of everybody when you retire.
Right.
My body makes it that far.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what's more blue collar than that? And winning a tournament, and that's the American dream, dude. Seriously,
it's so funny too because I'm like the quiet guy at work, right? I keep the I keep it very separated that I bowl. People know I bowl, but not like. I'm like, I am going to bowl a tournament. They're like, what's the money like? I'm like, I could win 100. Are you going to be on TV? I'm like, I could, right? I've always said that, but
right.
I had one of the guys, I heard you won a tournament this week. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I won. I was actually on Fox the other day, right? Very like
you're downplaying it, like blasé.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, was it like a cool prize fund? I said, I won 100,000, and they just like, what?
Dude, it's just like
you won $100,000 bowling? I'm like,
and our $10,000 bonus.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And they're like, what?
You're like, yeah, that's so good.
Yeah,
dude.
it's just some tournament.
Yeah,
some rando tournament, no big deal.
Some little thing.
I would have brought the trophy into work because I'm an asshole. That's
If I went Monday, I was bringing it. Then I felt like Tuesday, like it's over with. No, whatever.
That's funny. Oh, you bowl, huh? That's so good, dude. I heard you won a tournament.
Gary, this is probably going to surprise you. I'm not the quiet guy. I'm just giving you a heads up. I know you're probably going to trick that in a little bit. It might throw you.
So do you make it like twirl and things like that?
Yeah, right. You make that curve thing?
No, I love the older guys too. Yeah, I was in a bowling league. I'm like,
I used to bowl in a league.
And I could hook it. I could curve it, is what they'd say. I used to curve the ball.
Yeah. I get that spin on it.
I get the spin on it.
Actually, I've had the same ball. I've had the same ball for 20 years that I still have to this day. Oh yeah, what's the name of it? What ball is it?
Black.
I think it has a B on it. I've had the same ball for 20 years, and you don't know the name of it.
Hey, let's not make fun of people who don't know what bowling balls they have now. I'm learning finally. I'll tell you every
Joe
score.
has equipment donated by Senior and he knows what the colors are, but
Glick and Senior. I don't have any seniors.
He takes out this bright ivory and blue ball, and I'm like, "Oh, that's the wrecker." He goes, "Oh no, my wrecker's purple and green." I go, "No, it's not. It's not."
Listen, I said the wrong colors. That's all. It was when I had that weird Inferno thing that you said, and I didn't even have it with me. Then I had to run down in the basement and grab it, and you were like, "Yeah, that's the Scucciolingot's Inferno or some shit."
Johnny has an elephant brain when it comes to bowling equipment. Like he just knows by colors and the brand. He just knows.
Yeah, my daughter knows colors too. Let's not make like that's a big deal. She's 2.5.
Wow, Johnny,
I'm kidding. We're a very self-deprecating humor here. Gary, did you know that Rob doesn't know where his neck is? Have you seen his neck at any time recently? It's on milk cartons all over the Northeast.
I heard he's working on it though. Hitting the gym.
I am working.
We're trying to find it.
We're getting there.
We're trying to find it. It looks weird on a milk carton actually because it looks like it's just a blank picture.
Speaking of it, I'm going to address the other elephant in the room because I haven't been weightlifting in like 3 months, and I can't stand my body right now. But
me neither.
We always talk about Simonelli's forearm.
Oh, I'm right there.
How about the size of Gary's entire left arm?
Oh yeah, I know.
I missed it.
I mean, who the hell fills out a Kulik jersey or whatever jersey
on one side?
Who fills out?
Oh, you know what, dude? I didn't notice the other side.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm like, Jesus. Now
That's hilarious.
Jealous. He's handsome and he's got bigger arms than me. I got to get back.
No, big arm.
Big arm.
So no joke. I didn't see the other arm. I just like, man, the dude looks like he's kind of jacked, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
I didn't see the nerve damage arm, I guess.
He goes to the gym and says, "Yeah, I did arm day today."
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. As a kid, I guess with bowling and muscling and a little bit when I was a kid, the one arm grew, and then I got into a motorcycle accident. So the right arm, I fractured my right shoulder, and I guess
now I'm an asshole for saying nerve.
Yeah,
damage.
way to go.
No. It's not nerve damage. It's
just
basically ignoring physical therapy and never actually doing something about it.
It was just
worse
use
over
it or
time. And
use it or lose it, basically.
Yeah, I'm like that commercial from years ago where the Chinese girl's lifting up the 100-pound weight and the 5-pound weight. Like that's
yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, I have to say something real quick. If nothing else, what I at least hope that this hour or so that you've been here with us so far has produced is there are a ton of house bowlers in here. There's a ton of sensational, amateur players in here.
Sure, yeah.
PBA legends in this chat today, and everybody in here making a comment is talking about how wonderful the show was.
It's awesome to see.
I'm telling you how the majority of the world that watched this tournament feels about this tournament. It was really great television. And after talking to you for this hour, but the title belongs to a good person. So
right.
I appreciate that.
If you get on social media in a week, it's going to be just freaking high sailing from there, basically. So you weeded them out.
Even Simo came to your defense, and he didn't have to say
he didn't have to do nothing. He didn't have to do anything at all.
Super classy on
and
his
he was
part.
pissed.
Yeah,
like,
he was mad because they were like making fun of his ball selection. He's like, I think I know what I'm doing. Like,
right.
Sometimes I make good mistakes. Sometimes I make bad decisions. But what do you?
And again, when
you don't know what I'm doing.
doesn't it suck? Like, you just won a tournament, and you have to apologize. And I know it's like the etiquette thing because, like, we all get it when you get the breaks, and you're like, man, I'm sorry. Like, normally it's like, good. You actually apologize, which people do. Which this is and you said it, and he was like, dude, you got it, man. The pins fell. That's the shit. And
yeah, I mean,
so good on him for that too.
Yeah, like I can't help that they fell, right? And he knows that. Like he knows it, you know. Because there's going to be a time, may not be for 100,000, where I watch it happen to me, right?
Right.
It's going to happen. And maybe it's happened over the years. I mean, I have 5 runner-ups in regionals and 3 in the Long Island Masters. Like, I don't get wins. Somehow this is the one I get, which is insane.
Jason Boyer wants to take it easy on him next week at Woodlawn. So, oh, hey, Stan's in the house. Thanks for checking in for the Disturbed concert. That's number one Belmo hater in the world.
He's a dick,
but he's an asshole. But we love him anyway.
No, you do. I don't. He probably has your neck.
It's dick. No, it's funny that people want to hate, and you know, Belmo obviously has
now too. That's literally the thing.
Like I said earlier, I could have bowled 250 on that show, and then Simonson still bowled his 180 or whatever, and people would have said, "Well, the left is walled."
Yeah,
it
no,
doesn't.
he's in a no-win spot.
It doesn't matter.
But I don't understand why people care so much to get on social media and talk shit about something
because they have that ability to. They have the ability. If there wasn't a Facebook, nobody would say shit. No,
I know, and I had to my wife. I think she's got the middle finger emoji stuck in her phone at this point. These guys, and then I actually got to the point where I said, last night I was sitting there going through them, just like I said, screw it. So I made a little thing that I copy and pasted a bunch of times and said, hey man, thanks for the comment. Visit Bolify.
Yes, exactly.
For next year, use the code Haines 300.
Exactly.
I just started copying and pasting and putting it on all the bad comments. Like whatever.
Again, or you say like, sorry, my phone was under my Masters trophy. I didn't see any messages for a while. That's my bad. I'll catch up with you guys.
Good evening, Mrs.
Long line
Barnes.
at the bank today. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you sooner.
Yeah, they were verifying the check and counting the zeros.
We got Mrs. Barnes in the house too.
Awesome, thank you.
The 248, the 247-810 sold me. Yeah, that's.
I mean, I feel like the magic of this week started with that. It's just crazy,
right? Like, I don't know what are the odds, right? I mean.
Sometimes it's all it takes.
It's all it takes. That's it. Yeah.
A little tiny head change. Had you not had the breakdown and maybe had the extra 20 minutes to sit there frying out of yourself, I mean, who knows, dude? To get up
true too,
and make that ball change like you said, and throw that turkey.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
Wow, look at that! Awesome to watch.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Had me crying.
That's awesome.
We want to talk about somebody that's seen it all, and
yeah, really. My God.
And dude, Randy Peterson is public about his first appearance on television every time that there's a first timer. He talks about bowling. I think it was 150 or 140.
140 something. Yeah, he always says it. He's like, and I don't know. I get it. My first time on TV, 140.
Steve Jaros for the longest time had the lowest score on television at 129. Brian Smith, before he won the Masters in 2003, his first 4 television appearances, his collective average was 173.5.
It's crazy.
Who was the dude you mentioned?
It is an experience on TV that people will never understand. Nope. I asked Bill O'Neill before we got started. I'm like, so like you're a regular, like how do you feel? Is this like he's like I'm nervous every time. He's like, this is what I mean? Like the environment is crazy.
And that's one of the best bowlers of our lifetimes. One of the guys I looked up to growing up.
Yeah,
and he was over, I think, his first 6 or 7 shows.
Yeah, I told him. I said, I remember watching you and Fagan. You guys got the few years on me. Like you guys were the guys I followed, the Northeast. Like rooting for them. It's crazy.
But honestly, though, like
the silence is unreal. When you start your approach and it is dead silent, it is scary. It is a scary place.
If you accidentally squeak a tiny fart, like you're gonna be like, dude, no way, they heard that. Like I'm telling you, the silence is literally deafening.
That Ocho.
I mean, just
about it. You got a
somebody
freaking
coughing, somebody
microphone on 'em.
sneezing. Like you never
Even
know, like
if
the
you just one
smallest
of them
sound.
squeakers that's like, and I'm like, they're like, oh man, like I can't.
Yeah,
that throws off the pre-shot routine.
It's
Speaking of which, what'd you have for breakfast Sunday morning?
nothing. I didn't eat.
Didn't eat at all, huh?
Did not eat.
I kind of
For
understand.
fear of that, no coffee. Like, did you at least
Nothing.
Get back up
I had,
energy to keep you
water.
going,
I
or-
had water. I had a lot of water, and that
Mhm.
was it. That was it.
Interesting.
Yeah, just
It was like everybody in the chat is saying. It really was fabulous, fabulous television, and we're all absolutely 100% proud of you, dude.
I appreciate that. It's crazy.
So we got next week is the players.
Yeah.
You're eligible for the TOC as well. I mean, that's badass. I mean, that's. I mean,
I'm
are you-
trying to make that one.
Yeah.
Being the week right after, I've been trying to figure it out my work schedule of because I'm a shift worker too, so I don't even
Right.
just work Monday through Friday. It rotates through. So I'm supposed to work the end of the week for the TOC. So I'm going to see if I can kind of gauge it. Be like, well, if I'm out early, just go to work, right? So
Right,
trying
right.
to figure that, I'm trying to figure all that out.
And then you got the playoffs if you make it, right?
Which
you
is
should be,
crazy
right?
that I think I'm in 18th just with one event because
Yeah.
I won it. Is like I got a shot at that. That's crazy. That
is crazy. Well, Bug won the playoffs, dude. After winning, you never know. You never know.
That's what it is, though. The floodgates can open, and again, you have to when your participation is there, and like I get it. When you're working, you ain't practicing either. That's the other thing.
No, there's weeks that I bowl 6 games for the week, or maybe even 3, because I
Yeah.
work some of the nights that I normally would bowl. And unfortunately, the way bowling centers work nowadays, it's like they're not open till 4:00 in the afternoon. So, I even, honestly, Martel, I don't even know if he's opening up a new shop in Quorum, and I might actually be able to practice more often in that center when seeing when they open earlier and stuff. But I definitely want to. I feel like now I have the itch to try to really dive in and try to get to that top level. Like that, it's like, all right, you were able to do it this week. Well, what can we change to make that all the time, right? Right? How do we get to the level that these guys are? How do you get it cleaner off your hand more often, right? How do we get there? Because I know I'm not there. Just because I won this does not mean I'm these best in the world. I am not. I am far
while having a union job. While having a union job, like you're writing the book for this now.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody doing this.
Nobody.
So when you figure it out, man, you're gonna pave the way for some freaking workers. I'm laughing in like the sanctity of how rare this is. Like that's what's amazing about it. Because like if you had the chance to practice, you would just practice. You got them not enough hours in the day or the week.
No, it's just not.
I have to interject here because I really like what Chris Viali said because I noticed this too. Simo obviously was devastated with himself with the finish of that game. Obviously,
I think he set the record for most F-bombs on
Yeah,
TV, so.
Yeah, it was.
But immediately within 2 seconds after he was off the approach, winning that Masters, he was the first one to go and give you a hug and be gracious and just show. And that's the part of Simo that people miss when he gets angry. He's one of the most down-to-earth, real human beings you will ever meet. And he appreciates greatness. He appreciates everything. And Simo is a go-getter. He's always moving forward and he never, ever puts it on somebody else. And like in the rare occasion where he flipped off J.R. Raymond that one year, he was also the first to apologize for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kudos. Thanks, Chris Viali, for the comment, and kudos to Simo for his immediate class act in congratulating you right after his fry out on himself.
Listen, I learned a lot about him as a competitor and a person. And even before that, so I bowl him for the 1-2 seed, and people are like warning me about him competitively, right? Don't let him get to you. He's a guy. He wants to get in your head, right? He's not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to try to get in your head. And the match, I had never bowled him before, right? I'm not out there all the time, and he's not on the East Coast, right? So any tour guys that I normally would see at regionals, he's not one of them, right? So never cross paths with him on a bowling lane.
Right.
And when we had that 1-2 match, he did some crazy things. I'm not even going to go into the details of it, but he was getting in my head early in that match, right? And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is going on here? What's wrong with this guy, right?
Yeah.
And like he was doing some things like not even to me, just throwing me off. Like, and then towards the end of the match, I kind of like got the New York in me, like
hell yeah.
whatever, I started sitting further away from the pair, and then I started running my mouth back sometimes, right? Right. I started, the New York came out of me against him there, right? And you would think like, now this guy must hate me, right? This guy hates me, right? So we finished the match, I win the match, and this dude just comes over and congratulates me. You know what I mean? Like the lanes were off, and now this is the classiest guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just unbelievable. And then, I go do what I got to do. And then, I come back and Martell is like, dude, he had nothing but nice things to say. He was saying how normally, people would crumble in the situation, and you just like, didn't care. Right. It was like all this, like, it's the coolest thing. And then like on the TV set, like we're on a practice pair, and he's like, all right, listen. So, we could throw shots on this pair as long as they're not bowling. Like incredible guy to me that entire 2 days. Right. And I'm sure he's beating himself about the finish. I'm sure he is. I would be.
Oh,
but
sure.
It's just amazing how he was. It just,
He's the modern day Pete Weber, because Pete was the same way. Pete would be as competitive as anybody else in the lanes, and if you see him outside, he'll give you the shirt off his back. Like he's just the most down to earth guy.
Seconds out, like he'll talk and be like, "You're not getting." But what was it, Haugen? You ain't getting your first one against me, and then was like, "Man, that was great bowling. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Great show. You did awesome. Good for you."
No.
It's wild, man.
And game respects game. Like he loves the sport so much, he will respect. Simon respects you for, like you said, not crumbling. Just
he couldn't rattle him too. That's the thing.
He probably said, "Fuck, I tried all my tricks and it didn't work." Like you know what I mean. So game respects game, and that you got to respect him for that too.
Note to self: the Northeast guys are not easily rattled.
Right? I love that the New York came
rattled on TV though.
Dude, that wasn't him. That was a whole lot of other shit.
Yeah. Man.
It's
good stuff.
Yeah,
well, hey,
well, you know what's fun? Oh, hey, JP, real quick. What'd your dad say when he bowled the 298? And then he was like, he was like, I'll never do that again, or something like that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Carson. Appreciate that.
In 1978, Dad bowled 298 on television. He left at 2-4. And in 94, when he bowled the televised 300 for $100,000, Nelson Burton Jr. said that my dad had said if he was ever in the situation with the front 11 again, he guaranteed that he would never shoot 298 again. And that either meant he was going to hit dead flush or whiff the head pin and get 6, because
294
was going through the nose.
Yeah.
You fuel. You haven't had that happen on television yet, where you've tasted defeat, but you learn more about yourself from your shortcomings than you do about your greatness.
Right.
And I think that was his mentality, or his approach to it when he said that. He knew what not to do, which made it a hell of a lot easier to do it differently the next time.
And he was there before now again, so that was the other thing. And you prepare yourself for it, I guess, best you can, and what it's like. Which familiarity does, the human body, it's an innate response. You do get familiar with certain situations when you're presented with them enough.
Gary, earlier, one of our YouTube watchers, Samantha Russ, I think it was, asked, who drills your equipment?
Yeah, she's one of our best friends, so she was just being, but I have a drill press in the basement, so I actually drill my own. So.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
What do you think of that special effect? Have you thrown it yet?
I have not thrown that yet. No. I bought, before this, I had a basic regional contract paying for stuff, and during tax season, I realized how much I spent last year drilling bowling balls. So I haven't bought some of the new stuff, but yeah. Andrew Lazarchuk made that ball look amazing up in Binghamton.
I've heard good things about it. Yeah. So, and being a Team Hammer guy, I'm sure you might have access to a few more bowling balls now.
I was going to say, there's no more buying, right?
I think so. We'll see.
I would like
Johnny, work it out, buddy.
Oh yeah, Dale Pickard, and that's where I got my drill press from.
I don't think it's a big problem.
Well, Gary, we appreciate you being here, brother. Any social medias you want to plug? Are you involved?
Not right now. We don't.
No, but hey, thanks Turbo, thanks Bullify, thanks Brunswick, Radical, Hammer. Thank them all, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
We're
really, really awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to sit here with us. And
I appreciate it, man. This is awesome. I'm taking it all in. I'm trying as much as I can.
You continue.
Ride the wave, man. Ride it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And best of luck to you at the Players, brother.
No, I appreciate that. That's cool. Yeah.
We'll be watching you and pulling for you for sure. We'll keep an eye on your progress. So, but stay in touch, and we'd love to have you back on again.
Yeah, of course, man.
All right, sir. Have a good night, Gary.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Awesome.
I wish we had Manscaped again, Ouch. You really need to get rid of that.
You see how I saw? I'm puffed up. That's what apes do when they
Like
get
George
angry.
the Animal Steel with your shoulder hair and your back.
But it's
hair.
a different angle because my fucking laptop fried. All right, you guys. It's just if I normally.
I feel bad for you, dude. You showed me the video of your laptop. It's fine.
All right, it'll be fine.
It's nice looking.
Put it in rice. You'll be okay.
I did.
Good
and
job.
I ate it.
That's what everybody does. Then you ate the rice.
No, I ate the laptop. I didn't know, man.
Oh, okay. I thought just don't pre-cook the rice before you put it in there. But no, that's dude. You want to talk about a grounded guy? Like, man,
Well, he's got to be the working man. Like, who else would there be? A working man.
I mean, literally the American dream. Like the dude just loved the sport growing up.
I was hoping he was a plumber, so we could say the son of a plumber, like
like Dusty Rhodes. Just a hardworking dude working 9 to 5, bowls part time. What did he say? Was that his 6th Masters or his 10th? I forgot.
I believe he said it was his 5th.
Okay, all right, and to finally, to win one, like, what do you say? Like any one of us, anybody in the chat would love to be in that same position.
Again, truthfully, what was said earlier, he's his own worst critic with his performance on television.
Right.
All these assholes and these haters, which I didn't want to give the floor, which is why, like, when it came up, we talk about it, but I didn't want to make it the source because it was such a great show. But there's, like I said earlier, there are people that hate the Masters format, like my father. My father would be the first one to tell you he absolutely hates the Masters format. It's why he doesn't bowl it.
Ocho hates it too.
To each his own, dude. Because
what the fuck you get that?
Like he just said, just like prime example here. The reason my dad hates it is, let's say you're the qualifying leader. You lead averaging 220, and now you got to bowl the guy who qualified 64th, who's averaging 201, and he beats you on one pair in 3 games. You don't have a good ball reaction.
And the guy's a great bowler, obviously, because he's made the cut.
Yeah, so that's the downside of it. The upside of it is you produce new faces and new champions. We see it frequently. I mean, just to rattle off a few, you think about like when Brett Wolf won. You think about, I believe it was Jason Queen. You add, and then you got D-Ron Booker. You always find new names that you didn't previously know at the Masters because part of the tournament is a crapshoot. I get that. But you also have to beat the top 20% of the players that week.
That's where it is. 7
consecutive times in 3-game matches to qualify as the tournament leader.
Right.
And he did that. Regardless of how bad he thinks he threw half a dozen shots on TV or not, he beat everybody, including one of the best players in the world, on TV and off TV.
That's what I tried to to set into him, like.
And it's not luck of the draw to win 7.
Well, no, of course not. But I mean, if he thinks he bowled poorly on TV, well, you beat Simo, who is literally top 2, top 3 in the world.
He's doing that to get ahead of, because the hate is already going to be there. He's doing that. He's smart about it. He was super smart. It's to get. It's like you take the power away from them because you're like, okay, dummy, I said that first. Now, what are you, a genius?
Right.
And he, admittedly so, he said he got every break since Wednesday, which is great. Good for him. Sometimes you need some breaks to win a tournament. And that's what he did. That's what he said. So he's also said all the right things, knowing full well that there's going to be some backlash about the shot making. But guess what? In 3 months, it's going to be like, okay, this is a fun tournament. And in 6 months, it's going to be like, wow, remember this? And in a year, it's going to take on that status where it's going to be legendary. And it's going to be on one of them top PBA all-time freaking moments.
It'll be on the real.
Remember when the freaking Homer Simpson dude came into the tournament and beat everybody?
That's true. Moselle says, I bet Rad Rob has a great imbecile of the week. The hater tears are flowing like the Nile after Gary's win. I sure do, and I do have one regarding regarding Gary's.
Why didn't you play the other I do?
I do. But yeah, let's get into imbecile of the week.
It's time for everybody's favorite segment.
If you guys don't know how to use a seatbelt, just ring your call button and Tommy will come back there and hit you on the head with a tack hammer.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
Here's the imbecile of the week.
Some people are really stupid.
All righty, this comes courtesy of our friend Johnny Sperone, my brother in Popeyes. This is in response to what happened on Sunday. Eric Muckin, put the F where the M is, and you'll understand what's going on. Says, bad for bowling. The guy can't hit the pocket all day and goes Brooklyn all day long. When you start making the patterns this hard, it gives the edge to the scrub. And that's what happened here. PBA needs to reevaluate.
Hey, Eric, go eat some shit.
Lou DiMartino says, hey, Eric, go eat some shit.
Oh, God.
To which Eric responded, get bent, idiot.
Right. He's the idiot. I think the guy,
right.
Eric probably did eat shit at some
So
point.
Lou says, and Lou is a friend of John's, of Sperone. So he says, Eric Muckin, the fact that you think it's bad for bowling shows your lack of knowledge of bowling. Keep your negative comments to yourself and at least be accurate. So this idiot calls the Masters champion, who beat Anthony Simonson, top 3 bowler in the world, arguably, calls his kid a scrub. Let's try to keep it a little bit more PC, Johnny. But give us like a half-fettered response to Mr. Muckin.
It's just an ignorant comment. It's
one of many.
It's easy. It's low hanging fruit too.
Why do you have to share it? If you truly feel that way, why are you sharing it in a social network that holds no water?
It's so low hanging fruit. It's just look how smart I am. Even though it's low hanging fruit is the worst thing. This is what people don't talk about because he wouldn't said a word if it was anything else. It's the low hanging fruit. Fuck him. Anyway.
Yeah, there's just no rhyme or reason to publicly announce negativity about another person, especially when they are a major champion in a sport that I've never even heard your name in.
Yeah, so and is the PBA going to go, oh, this guy's right? Man,
the PBA is like, man, maybe we do.
He's making a good point here, this jackwagon.
Maybe we need to change the format so we don't get a freaking fantasy story.
FYI, so Brad and Kyle did a video that said why the Masters tournament is the easiest and hardest to win. Mm-hmm. They sum it up really great. Like Johnny said it. It's a wacky tournament. Let it happen, man.
It's the Happy Gilmore of bowling. Like everybody wants that story. Everybody wants this. Like I said, everybody wants to see the underdog. It's basic psychology. It's like wrestling. It's you root for the face against the heel.
I was down 11-2 in a match one time because I got caught and I wasn't really paying attention, and I wound up pinning the guy. I was losing 90% of the match, but I won. So what the fuck did I come? I wasn't like, that sucked. I was like, fuck you, dummy. You got caught in an easy move.
Fuck you, dummy.
Like I Petersoned him. He was about to put me to my back, and I Petersoned him because he put himself to his back, and I pinned him.
You Petersoned
okay.
him.
Yeah, there really is.
Anyway.
Exactly what Moselle just said. If the word ignorant had a photo.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I just said.
And a name.
We all know ignorance is bliss, but this is just so stupid. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Dr. Seuss, Sweet Cheto, Cherokee, Pocahontas.org.
Let me look up Mr. Muckin and see what he's got. He's got a.
And then look up Miss Bliss from Saved by the Bell because that's what he was talking about. Ignorance is Miss Bliss.
He's got a Kegel picture. He's got 2 kids in his profile picture. I don't know if he's young or if those are his kids. So I won't go down there. But what a douchebag!
He's a PDF.
Regardless,
anybody that had any comments like that they had to share on a public forum is just it's gross, man. I hate people that hate for no reason. I hate it.
It's not even a good trolling segment either. Like there's no creativity to it. There's nothing. Like you're just a douche.
There's not even any sustenance to it.
That's exactly it. See, I know how to troll.
There are 300 imbeciles like that on the Facebook bowler science forum. Dude, that's where I used to get all my material from, is that group. Well, holy cow, those guys are
absolutely.
Those guys they're so special. Joe Pomp with the best beard in the business. What's going on, brother? Good to have you here.
You couldn't be more on that.
Imbecile of the week should have been Joyce Lynch. I don't know the reference, Jeff. What's
Tell us, Jeff.
Yeah, fill us in on that one.
Joyce Lynch mob.
That's what I'm thinking of, man.
Bo Gergen, what's going on, brother? Good to have dude. We had a strong audience tonight, and when I say we had Belmo numbers in the audience tonight, we did. We literally did. We were solid, 99 people for the last hour and a half.
Because he's somebody different. He's a local boy. He's from the island. He obviously spoke of the East Coast or the Northeast mentality. When your back is against the wall, you figure shit out. He got up in the 9th and 10th frame and he figured shit out.
Yep.
He figured shit out in the match prior against Simo. When he saw Simo trying to get into his brain, the East Coast came out of him.
Yeah.
We are the best at finishing. We are trained finishers.
All right, Jeff. Thanks.
It just runs through our vein on this side of the country. It just runs through. And a lot of times, because of that energy that we have when we actually need it, that's what makes it even more so great that he was able to perform like that after fighting the nerves. Like you said, dude, he's in there. He's thinking about the shot clock.
Yeah.
He's thinking about what he's going to talk to Kimberly, how he's going to answer Kimberly Pressler's questions. He's thinking about having to bowl Simo, the deafening silence that Linda Barnes was talking about, all of it. And it's just, we sit there and it's like, holy crap, I didn't even really think about that. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that.
Right.
And
hey, have you guys discussed any other tournaments that went on this weekend?
We will in a second, but Mark Robinson, thank you so much for that comment. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark. Great to see you, bro.
We hope you tune back in at some point.
We've had a pretty all-star cast of
holy shit, dude. Seriously.
Legends on here. If you ever want to search it, please go check them all out.
PD was in the house tonight. We had Liz Johnson. We had Mrs. Barnes, Chris Barnes' wife. We had Carson Lukosius was here.
We always have a Carolyn Doran Ballard sighting at some point.
Yeah, I mean
they were all here all in support of witnessing, more history in our sport, which is what this sport needs. The sport needs more Cinderella stories.
It does. And one thing that I love about our audience and our chat is everybody is 1,000% respectful. We don't have any of those asshats that you'll see in the Facebook groups ever come in to this chat and cause a ruckus.
No,
nobody does. We have the best.
We get very lucky like that in here, which is amazing because we shit on the shitters.
Right. That's true. But I mean, we have a smart audience too. We have an audience that understands the sport and understands what it takes to get to the level of the guests that we have on our show. And it's just it says a lot, John, and I've said this a million times. It says a lot, not just for the company that you keep, but the fans that we attract that aren't connected to you or your dad or anybody else. We do get a fantastic group of people that watch us every single week. And I gotta give it to our chat. I mean, our chat is always on point, always asking the right questions, always bringing up the right points. And it's one of the reasons why I love doing this show live now. Because when we first started, we were just doing, pre-recorded stuff. And, once we started the live stream, I'm glad we made that change because I love the fact that we get to interact with people that watch the show. And it's great for people to watch the show to interact with guys like Belmo and all the guys we have on this show. Like it's a cool deal. I'm thankful for the show that we've had and the word of mouth growth that we've had over the last year has been amazing. So just want to throw it out there. We love our chat and we love our fans.
The word of mouth album from Ludacris is even better, but
that's a good point.
Totally agree with you.
Chuck Ritchie, I love you, buddy. I promise you're never gonna be in the show, but we still appreciate you being here every single week. Crambone as well. What about Doc Sullivan? I promise you before the year's over, I keep forgetting. I'm gonna go back and unblock him and say, hey, dude,
You want to come on the show?
You want to come on the show? Can you imagine having that asshole on the show?
I'm
sorry.
with me as well.
I do want to mention, guys, before we wrap it up here, I can't mention the specifics, but in 2 or 3 weeks, we have a major opportunity for this show to get more exposure. We are signing on with someone who's been in the radio business for 30 years. And I can't talk about it, but it's pretty much a done deal other than dotting the T's and crossing the I's. But we're looking forward to a new business venture and relationship coming up here in the next few weeks. But when we're allowed to talk about it, we will, but it's going to be very beneficial to this show after all the hard work we've put in. So,
and it's not Ocho exposing any more than you.
No, yeah,
Ocho.
Hold on. I have the Joyce Finch news from Jeff Scarola. She had posted, "Don't be so cocky next time you're on national TV." Talking about Gary. I didn't like your attitude when you went to kiss your wife in the middle of a game, as I have never ever saw a professional do that. You got lucky today, but it will never hopefully happen again. Shit, we might as well add her to the episode of the week too as well. Joyce Finch.
Oh, she's gonna get anger railed by somebody soon. Like that's.
Are you sure it's Joyce Finch or Finch?
Joyce Finch.
Oh well,
fist yourself.
And Scrolla put up this T-shirt. Gets me $20 with.
She can eat some shit too then.
No, believe me, she's gonna get anger railed by somebody, and it's gonna be perfect. And she's probably gonna flip her pancake when it happens too, because it's gonna be good for her.
He has more.
If he gets the bottom knocked out of it, the top is gonna get back in place. So you're good.
I think we get the gist, Jeff. But thanks for sending me that on the scene reporting from Jeff Scarola. Appreciate that. What a douche canoe, right? Like these people have nothing better to do than jump on and be keyboard warriors, but would never. If she went to him in the bowling alley, like if she went to the player next week and
she would slide off the freaking chair. She'd be so freaking enamored with him. Are you kidding me?
Come on. Yeah. Walk it
up.
up.
Are you telling me we still don't have it? We don't have any other tournaments to talk about this weekend?
I love you, Alex. Johnny, I heard you won a tournament this past Sunday.
Why would you do that? Set it up better, you asshole.
No, I don't know. No. How about that, Ouch? No, I don't want to.
Well, that's why you suck. I'm sorry. That's why you have no neck.
It is. It is what it is.
I bowled in the Monmouth County tournament, teams, doubles, and singles. I bowled with Marvin Mora, Larry Gitlitz, and Mike Smith. And what was strange for me was I'm used to opening with team event and then leading into doubles and then singles. What Monmouth County decided to do was they decided, since you're starting at 9:30 in the morning, that you're going to open with singles followed by doubles. Then you get about an hour break, and then you go into the team event. And I was curious about that. I'm like, I've never, ever bowled singles first.
Right.
And apparently their rationale behind it was, well, if somebody's late and they can't make the first squad, they're only hurting themselves. They're not hurting their doubles partner, and they're not hurting their team.
Well, that makes sense, actually.
Which I said, that kind of makes sense. Okay. And not to mention, I'm usually not the freshest in the morning blocks. So I'd prefer to bowl singles first because, quite honestly, I never even think about winning singles in a team tournament. I never do it. So I'm out there. It's 9:30 in the morning, and I open with 300 the first game. And then the second, I'm like, wow, this is great. The second game, I start with the front four. So I have the opening 16, leave a 6-pin, throw all of them to the 10th. And then on the fill ball, I get an 8 count. Nice open with 300, 277. And I close out singles with a 791. I happen to leave a 6-8 split in the 9th frame. Last game, bowl 214.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
But it turns out that 791 was 30 pins ahead of second for singles after the 2 combined weekends. So I wound up being the singles champion for Monmouth County this year.
Oh, badass.
In doubles, I popped off 734. My teammate bowled well, just had some carry issues, shot about 660. So we just missed the cash in doubles, but now I'm 325 over after 6 games with 3 to go. And I shot 696 in team event, just kind of staying close, and closed with 22-21 for all events, which wound up being about 65 pins ahead of second place in all events. So I left Monmouth County with a singles title and an all events title.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Congrats on that.
Very much.
We're proud of you for that. That's
a Hammer Effect tour and a Brunswick Hypnotized the entire way. And shout out to my teammate Joe Arroyo, because
couple weeks ago at league, I got really mad at myself and I basketballed my plastic ball and it split everywhere. I had time to drill a new plastic ball, so I temporarily commandeered my teammate Joe's Columbia white dot and made 3 splits in every spare I shot at that tournament. So thanks for coming in clutch with me with your spare ball there, Joe.
A white dot. Good. That's good freaking marketing for the defunct company, at least. But still,
Columbia's still around, you jackass.
I don't know. I thought it wasn't.
Oh, it is. It is.
Oh, it is.
It's one of the brands of Brunswick.
All right. Well, then it was. Is the white dot still around?
One of the 45 brands of Brunswick.
Still their staple. The same way the T-Zone is Brunswick staple plastic, or Ebonite has the Maxims. The white dot is still the Columbia staple plastic.
Mine's a Steeler ball. What's mine? Do you know?
A Brunswick Visible.
Is it?
Yes.
Shit.
My favorite Columbia ball was the Wine U dot.
So was Marshall Holman.
I didn't know he was a ball.
That was his favorite too. The one
stupid. God damn it. It was kind of funny, actually.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It was funny. I just happened to miss it because I turned on the heat like a schmuck, and I am like glossy sweating right now.
Makes you look hotter though, literally.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
I turned on the heat by throwing some more wood on the fire.
I'm on a roll tonight, so what can I say? It was a good night. It was a great show. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I just texted Gary to thank him again, him again for coming on.
Yeah, he's a true class act, and really loved his approach to everything that was said.
Yep.
All the questions we had for him. He was exactly the kind of person I thought he was going to be. And after mentioning his relationship with Michael Martell has a very similar personality to Gary. They're both highly competitive. They both expect perfection from themselves all the time. They come from the same neck of the woods. It's understandable why those guys get along. And
not this neck, but a different,
totally different.
Your neck might be in the woods.
Yeah, neck is in the woods, but it's on its way home.
I do. That was great, Ocho. That was funny. No, you're right. We got to get Michael on the show as well. I like Michael Martell. I'm friends with him on Facebook. So I talked to Tim Mack if our guests want to know, or our chat wants to know. He will be good after April 20th. He'll be done with the tour after that. So we're going to get him on in about 3 weeks. We have Chris Schlemmer lined up here soon as well. Larry Lichstein will be on in May. Oh,
I thought you were getting Larry Bird. Damn it.
I do. Yeah, no, that's all I can say with Larry Bird. He's a great guy. No, I'm sorry. He's a great player. He's kind of a douchebag. I wouldn't want him on the show. Thanks, Pomp. I appreciate it. I love your beard. And yeah, mutual respect. What the hell else was I going to say? Yeah, I think that's it for guests coming up here. I do. Yeah, no, I love the I do. And when the intro plays and I'm sitting here in the green room and every time he says it, I'm just like, he doesn't have the best in the hair world. I do. Sorry, bud. I just love it. That's just
I do.
Everybody,
it's amazing how two simple words, a total of 3 letters. Even Stephanie and Eric to this day will I do it to me.
We say that all the time. Even it's like, you're gonna be all right. You're coming. I do.
Oh, that's so good.
Anybody have a pen? I do.
I do.
Oh, you like that? You like that lasagna? I do.
I do. I know. It's
leave the guy alone.
Oh, we love Kyle. We're gonna get Kyle back on the show too once
the
tour schedule clears up. We're probably gonna have a pretty big summer with everyone being off. So I don't ever plug stuff that I do, but I do want to bring this up real quick. Anybody that watches this guy on YouTube, Derek Beery from Vice Grip Garage is going to be on my other podcast, RTW Rewind, next month. We'll be recording on the 12th of April, and it'll drop the week after on my YouTube channel, Rad Rob Entertainment. I know he's got 2.5 million subs. He's
you have 2.5 subs.
I have 2. Yeah, I do. You're such an asshole.
I do.
But yeah, anybody wants to check that out, I'll put the link in our Facebook group. But just want to plug another one of my projects that I don't ever talk about. So I'm excited for that. He's a super cool dude, and I know you guys are big car guys, so I know you're going to be watching it.
I have to say this. I just got a text message from Stephanie that says I do.
I do.
How do you spell it?
And do is spelled like Mountain Dew, not
DEW.
Yeah.
That's fun. I think
AYEDEW.
I was gonna say Chuck said that in the beginning of the show. Let me see if I can find it.
So awesome.
Fucking Chuck. It doesn't go back that far.
You guys are
Really?
terrible.
Chat?
You guys are
Dude.
terrible.
All right, guys. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. We appreciate our special guest again, the USBC Masters champion Gary Haines, for coming on the show. And there we go. I do. Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate that.
I do.
We need to put that on a t-shirt and give.
We should change our opening to "So without further ado."
I do.
Close to the show.
I might just do that. Victor Johnson, what's going on, brother? We're wrapping up, but hey, nice to have you here. But again, thanks for everybody hanging out tonight. We had 100 people strong, and we appreciate your support. So, John, anything to say before we go?
Really, really looking forward to this opportunity we have in coming up in the next few weeks, and huge shout out to George Hart for all the hard work that he did.
Love you, Georgie.
Make it possible. And speaking for myself, definitely, and obviously don't have to speak for these guys, but we'll definitely not let you down. That's a bro promise. And other than that, it's very, very humbling for me, especially, to have the amount of legends that we have in the chat here, especially to see names like Linda Barnes and Liz Johnson and Danny Wiseman, just here listening to what we have to bring to the table. That is so humbling for me. It really, really, really is. So thank you guys both from the bottom of my heart for being 3 years strong on this show. And yeah, I again, absolute congratulations to Gary. It's awesome. There's no other words that can be spoken.
Made a sausage finger heart. I can't really get that down. No, real quick, Victor, go ahead. If you got a question in the next 6 seconds,
go ahead, Victor.
You can throw.
Rob, your fingers are so thick it looked like an actual heart. Like I saw a freaking left ventricle. I swear to God, I'm not even kidding.
That's what she said.
That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, by the way, if you want to check past episodes of RTW that Ocho was on,
no
RTW main event, it was a great show.
All
AI. It was a really good show.
I'd love to watch after this. Can you give me a link?
It was all AI.
I will give you a link. I'll give you more.
That's
than a
how
link,
AI
Johnny.
started.
I'll give you the whole sausage.
Tell me how to search it on YouTube. I'll watch it as soon as we're done with our show.
Good, because there's no such thing.
Yeah, there's no such thing. It's just an audio podcast.
All right. Well, I'm just going to be kicking it with Evelyn. So
you're not missing anything.
No, you're not. Okay.
You don't.
There's a guy that has your dad's bowling ball, and he had it since it was brand new. What do you think it would cost? What do you think it costs?
Oh, we're doing auctions here now? Just keep the damn thing.
There's multiple dad balls. Are we talking about the rubber LT from 1977? Are we talking about the LT 48 gold that came out in the late 90s? Are we talking about the vintage LT 48 that came out in 2011? If he has the original rubber LT 48 from 1977, the signature ball, and it's blank, I've seen them sell to collectors for as high as $1,000. Yeah, again, I need to know which LT, Vic. If you're talking about the original rubber LT from 77, a blank one with the box could go to a collector for as much as $1,000, but I wouldn't expect more than, say, probably $500.
It's the original.
Well, Rob, we have an email they could send to that we never check.
There are very, very, very few bowling balls that are highly, highly sought after, and even the highly sought after ones don't go for as much as you think they would. For instance, like if you could come across, say, like an original Red Pulse from Columbia from 1995, that would be a $500 ball. If you could find a Critical Mass Code Red or an original Cuda C from the mid-90s, those can go for around $500. An original LT 48, again, to the right collector. This, I feel like I'm on an episode of Pawn Stars right now. Yeah, if it's a rubber blank and you sell it to the right buyer, you can get, I'd say, anywhere from comfortably, I would say somebody would let it go from anywhere from like $400 to $600. That would be the number that I have a case of them, fortunately. And if bound by contract, I'm not allowed to sell any Brunswick. I'm not allowed to collect money for a bowling ball bound by my Brunswick contract, so I could never sell them, even if it is 50 years old. But yeah, that's to the right bowler. That's about what that ball is worth.
I also have a heavily used original Teal Rhino Pro that I can sign for you guys. If you want it, I'll sell it to you for $10.
If you can find one of those blank new in box from 1993, 1994, that's a $500 piece.
I'll sell you mine for $15. How about that?
There you go.
By the way, thanks to Jeff Skyers. He's actually hooking me up with a Mesmerize. I'm going to get back in the game. So it's a very strong ball for somebody that has about 28 revs. So
well, it's promise it's going to roll better than what you've got, and it's
Swamp Monster. Come on, man! You can't beat the Swamp Monster.
Yeah, even Parker Bone told you were an idiot for having that ball.
That sounds like a Scooby-Doo episode, man. Serious shit.
Now, if they want to bring back
kids.
the Cruiser or the Monster Smasher, fine. Swamp Monster, that's a boat anchor.
But it was proactive, bro.
But it was square.
I still average
that. Now listen, I
still average 210 with it at Bradley Bowl.
That ball rolled better in the box.
I'm a science major, and I can tell you a square bowling ball will definitely not roll as good as a round one. So, but that's just my expertise. I'm an expert witness. You know,
that's what that Swamp Monster is. It would roll better if you threw it down the lane in the box.
Hold on, Dr. Ocho. Do I need to get a pap smear before I drill my ball?
Yes, of course you do. What kind of a question is that?
Okay, that's what I thought. I just want to check.
Alex is right about this, Rob, because if you haven't, first off, nobody really even measured paps when the Teal Rhino was out. And even if it did, it's not as detailed, but the first thing you have to do is, get out onto the lanes with your local pro shop guy. Find somebody that knows what they're doing.
I got to find somebody.
Have them check your grip and your fit, because I guarantee you it's changed.
Oh, yeah.
You also have to find your positive access point to make sure you put in a layout that's going to be effective for you.
And find your neck.
And I think I need interchangeable thumbs because my thumb gets fat and small and fat and small. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not just fat and fatter?
You're an asshole. All right. Thanks, Victor, for showing up, and we appreciate your question. I hopefully that answered everything you needed for. But anyway, all right, we are out of here. We are out of time. We'll see you guys next week. I'm going to hit the outro. Good night, gentlemen. Thanks for another great show. And good night to our chaps. See you next week. Ocho, drop the software. How long do you think he can hold that, Johnny?
Probably say.
No, he's done. All right. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightup5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Right here on the